Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are doing more anticipated games for 2023. If you want to see what our top 20 ones that we are most excited for, definitely go check out that video first. But here we are going to be talking about kind of in a free form style of just the other ones that we're excited for, because there are quite a bit. I had an even total of 60 that I could think of off the top of my head and that I was looking at on BGG that I considered for the overall ranking of the 20. I had about 60, and that, of course, includes expansions and, for the most part, things that I know something about. Like, I didn't just go into 2023 and just be like, oh, that one kind of looks cool, and just, bloat it that way. But
Yeah, mine's around. I had around 50 total.
Okay.
So I have about 30, and then some on this list that we talk about today. I mean, there's some of them that were on your list on the original. So
right, that's true actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually same, because I know there were a few that you mentioned, and so yeah, it's gonna be a lot more free form and just kind of this should be a lot quicker on how we go about it, but there's really no format for this one. So the plan is basically we'll just go alternate.
That's fine.
And then we'll just go, I'll just pull up on Board Game Geek and we'll just kind of go with it. So I have my Pub Meeple ranking list pulled up on one screen. So I will start with one that is probably going to be on your list as well, or at least one that's brought up. This was actually I'm starting at the very bottom. So this would have been number 60.
No, mine aren't. The ones I bring up are not in any order.
Neither are these really.
Right.
Because every time we come up do a list now, I use the Pub Meeple, and so then for the top 20, it was like, oh, okay, here's 21 to 1. So technically this is ranked, but I don't really count it.
Yeah.
At that point, but this one is one that I have no idea where it's at as in terms of production, but it sounds like it should be cool. And that is Arcais, or Arceis. Arceis. Yeah, I remember that. I think this was actually on your most anticipated last year.
It was, and it fell off. It was one that I put on the list immediately, but it just didn't quite make that top 20.
Yeah, this one is, it's a dungeon crawl. So once again, cooperative. I don't know why this wasn't in my top 20. It's a cooperative story-driven campaign game. Set among ancient Egyptian ruins. So it's supposed to be modular board. They were doing this thing with you actually had walls for whatever reason. I don't know if I get updates every now and then on this game, but it's just in limbo at this point. Oh, here we go. Delivery pushback to the 20. Let's see. So it's supposed to say, they're saying February.
Yeah, December, January, transit by boat. So yeah, February, March probably.
Let's hope. But we don't see a whole lot of dungeon crawls with ancient Egyptian theme. So I think that's kind of why it's like, okay, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So that is that's one that I'm excited for at some point.
Yeah. All right.
All right, what do you got?
So mine is it's a special edition reprint of a game that I really enjoy, that I backed on GameFound because it's kind of over the top, and it's the Castles of Burgundy special edition.
Nice. Yep.
This one is just going to be just
there we go.
Awesome as hell, I think. Yeah. Just the way with all the building models and the acrylic pieces and everything. It's got all the expansion content thrown in there too. I like the original game, and it was just kind of just kind of okay looking. Yeah. But this is going to be really neat looking. I did not go to the highest level of this. I didn't get the one that had the 3D plastic terrain for their sheep on a hill or all that.
Oh,
yeah, I did everything up to that. That was an add-on. It was going to add $100 or something to get all those deals. So I was like, no.
Yeah, you said this was on GameFound, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was a GameFound.
Let me see if I can tell you what my pledge was.
Yeah, so I did everything except for that 3D terrain because I like the acrylic tiles. I think those are going to be fine.
I think I did the Royal Pledge. So it has the special edition Sundrop stretch goals playmat and upgraded hex tiles.
Yeah. What did I do?
Because it was also relatively cheap, and this has Awakened Realms as the publisher.
Yeah, I did the €142 pledge, whatever that was.
I did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any add-ons, so yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be really
a good
cool.
one.
Yeah, I really like the game, and I think just having the 3D aspects of it'll be cool.
So I know it's not like related to this, but it's kind of similar because they just did the Castles of Mad King Ludwig like special edition and all that. You want to hear the shitter about that? They're making another expansion for that game. And I'm like, well, you just did a deluxe like upgraded bougie version.
Yeah.
Why would you? What the hell? So who knows? But anyway, yes, Castles of Burgundy is extremely solid, and this will be amazing, especially Awakened Realms production.
Yeah, it'll be the first Awakened Realm game I'll probably actually play a lot of.
Oh, a lot of, yeah. I was like, you've played this War of Mine, haven't you?
Yeah, but I didn't play a ton of that, and I didn't play a ton of Tainted Grail either. So it's like this one will be the one I'll hit the table quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, my next one is an expansion that actually is taking a weird amount of time to come out. And that is an expansion to the second edition for Atlantis Rising. So Atlantis Rising is a extremely solid cooperative game that like after a few plays you kind of you're like, all right, I kind of get it. So it begged for an expansion, and they're making one. Again, just don't know where it's at. I mean, it offers new challenges. So it adds Medusa, which is the Gorgon, turns to Atlanteans to stone, Harpy's Lair, 3 monstrous bird-like creatures, steal resources, and then Scylla and Charybdis, monsters that have long doom sailors leave their narrow strait and terrorize the shores. So basically new mechanisms, just more like to probably make the game a lot more difficult or modular so you can kind of give and take. Again, don't know where this is at. Not even sure. Yeah, not even sure. There's not even a forum about like why it's taken so long, but for some reason, it's just not coming out.
This is one that I've never played that I'd like to play sometime.
Oh, okay. I shall add that to our running list. It's a good one. Like I do enjoy this game and I've kept it, but it did kind of need an expansion. And hopefully this one comes out in 2023.
All right.
That's that one.
Are we going to this next game isn't one that was on your list, but are we going to bring back up ones we talked about in the top 20 or just not say them?
If we can just no. There's no point.
Yeah.
We'll just skip it. And because we probably said if you mentioned one that was not on my list, like like Marvel Zombies.
Right.
I think I probably mentioned, that didn't make this list.
Right. Okay, sounds good. All right, so my next one is a Kickstarter project that just finished up not too awfully long ago. And I got it mainly because my wife saw it and begged me to buy it. And then it's from a creator, a really hot designer right now. And this is the Fox Experiment.
It's not Swingers, the board game.
No,
no, that's a different. I'm talking about that one later. Oh, the Fox Experiment.
The Fox Experiment, yeah.
This is on my list as well.
With having Elizabeth Hargrave, with Wingspan, and I never played Mariposa.
Well, apparently it's dog shit. I mean, so many people, I guess, have already been able to play it. That's so cool. It's not even out.
And it has Elizabeth Hargrave, and it's just really has a neat little deal. Those nature games are pretty cool. This one has a unique, different aspect because it has the dry erase marker, which I'm trying to figure out for sure what that goes. But But if you do this Kickstarter version, it wasn't super. It was $100 to get the best version that had like all the play mats and the fox shaped meeples and all that stuff. So it just looks like another one of those games that I know is going to get played because my wife was the one that was like, because I was kind of on the fence about it because I wanted to find out more, and she's like, get it. I was like, okay. So this one's going to be a good one, I think, from what it looks like.
And Elizabeth Hargrave is one of those designers that puts a lot of tender love and care into her games, a lot of research, obviously with Wingspan being the biggest one, and then Mariposas, which is an equally solid game about monarch butterflies. Yeah, this one, I mean, she's now became one of those designers that you just kind of keep an eye out for her games. So Panda Swords typically does a good job. And then this is definitely on my list. I'm trying to it would have been 31.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that like you just said, when you see her name on a box, it's like, oh, this one's going to probably be pretty good. She hasn't put out a stinker yet. She's put out 3 games now or whatever.
This will be her 3rd one, I think.
So I think it'll end up being pretty decent.
I think, well, let's see what these ratings are in these comments.
There's a 6 and somebody said,
this guy he booked it. Oh man, that's 4 from Jemengus. Like, oh dear God, grow the fuck up, dude. Yep, I bet they did. I bet those fake foxes that are drawn on the game. Jesus Christ, people need to calm the fuck down. I mean, I'll have fun with those foxes in those Russian labs.
Yeah,
because I guarantee you, what she did for Wingspan and what she did for Mariposas, I bet you she has facts and a bunch of stuff in that rule book.
Oh, I'm sure.
If she doesn't, or if they don't, that would be a missed opportunity, I think. But I don't see why she wouldn't.
She has on her other stuff.
I would laugh if on every fox it just says "lol." It's like, okay, this seems a little like, all right, Elizabeth, what the hell happened? Yes, I think it'll be great. All right, my next one is also an expansion. This is just another expansion to a game that has so many as well. This one probably will be on your list, and that is Aeon's End, Past and Future.
It would have been. I forgot to put it on there.
Yeah. This one, I mean, you and I both love Aeon's End. And I mean, more stuff is just always a good thing, even though at this point there's just so much shit. Yes. Especially after the Legacy of Gravehold, and if they're going to keep doing more of that, then it's just insanity. But this one I thought was actually pretty cool. Like, I saw a run through of this, of how the past cards and the future cards are, how those mechanisms work, and I think that's I thought they were both pretty interesting too, and the narrative that they're going with for these, like with the future aspect specifically, about how it kind of goes sci-fi. So it's like, I bet you, I don't know if they've ever officially said it, but they obviously have one where they have their own world. That it's like, I bet you Astro Knights is in that same universe, and the future of this cards could probably maybe lead to Astro Knights.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it adds 6 new nemesis, 10 new mages. This actually looks like it's doing those small. Wow, it adds 2 narrative booklets. Okay, so this is a bigger.
It's almost
expansion.
Like a legacy of almost like a legacy, one of their legacies, but it's a little smaller.
Yeah, yeah, it does actually. Which I thought it was going to be a smaller expansion, but 2 interconnected storylines take players back in time and hundreds of years into the future. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, love Aeon's End. At some point, everyone, Brad and I will get to do a ranking or a tier list. Maybe a tier list would be way easier with the amount of nameless.
Our top 62 game.
My numbers, God. No, thank you. Yeah, a tier list of the Aeon's End nameless would be probably better. So, yeah, that's on here.
Awesome. All right. Well, my next one is a game that is actually still has a Kickstarter campaign running currently. It's gonna end,
okay.
it's gonna end in a little under 3 days. And it's called Age of Comics: The Golden Years.
I just backed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one looks interesting. It
Mm-hmm.
is a worker placement game, and it takes place like in the well, it says on it's 1938 to 1954. That's the
Oh,
age, the year range that because that was considered the golden age when comic books were starting to really go. But pretty much what you're doing on this is you win by getting the most fans. I mean, that's kind of, or I guess that fans are probably code for victory points.
victory points. Yeah.
You're trying to accumulate the highest number of fans, make money by publishing. You're creating your best portfolio. It looks like it's gonna like a lot of the behind the scenes of the comic book industry and stuff too. And it kind of has that nostalgic look. It's kind of like that old 30s,
Yeah,
40s, 50s look and stuff.
OG
And
comic covers. Yeah.
right. So it's just one that kind of caught my eye. And it's not expensive for the all in either. It's like $65 and you get everything,
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of themes that were
right.
centered around this.
Right. So, I mean, there's a comic book game that came out in Europe that they're still waiting to bring over here that interests me because it's more of a modern day. I don't remember what it's called, but they're looking for like a publisher and to bring it over to the US.
Okay.
But that one looks cool, but then it's a different kind of game though. Like this one looks kind of cool because it's got that whole old school comic vibe to it.
Yeah, it gives me really cool. Yeah. Like I was never a comic book reader, so I can't like pinpoint anything specific, but it's like I'm familiar with this kind of art style. Yeah, and with it being kind of a worker placement. So hand management, worker placement, like that all sounds great to me.
Yep.
I don't think this is officially like on my list because I think I made this before I backed it, but yeah, it'd be on here too.
When I did my list, the first place I looked, Game Found, Kickstarter, backer kit to see what my projects I had backed currently that hadn't been delivered, and then I went from there.
That's fair. Okay. Next one that I got. Let's do this one. I didn't even know was coming out. But it's Hadrian. It's an expansion to Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, interesting. I didn't heard of that either.
Well, I don't even know how I came across this, but it's there's like two, and I don't even know if these might actually just be like, I don't know if these are like.
Oh, it only has 12 cards and a rules card.
And a rules
so it's like
card.
A super small.
Yeah, it's Hadrian's Wall New Fates, and then there's another one. Hadrian's Wall, was it Actor? Yeah. So these are promo cards.
Okay, that's a promo, but the other one looked like a little mini expansion.
Yeah, a little mini expansion. So, but it says it comes out in 2023, and I mean Hadrian's Wall is extremely solid, and I think just having any type of variation, I think within Hadrian's Wall would definitely keep it fresh. Because after a few playthroughs, I was like, all right, I get it.
There's a Kickstarter that's either getting ready to start or has just started. That's any of these Garfield games. It's Shem Phillips is having a kid, and he. Oh, wait a second. Never mind. It's another guy. But he's associated with these games, but there's like a promo pack.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's not Shem Phillips. Never mind.
Gotcha.
Disregard what I said.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, I mean, if I don't know how this is gonna come out, or where it's coming out, I mean, I can't imagine that they would do anything crowdfunding for 12 cards.
If it's this company, when they had their last small deal, it was just on their website because
found it. It will first be available during the Legacy of You Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, I back that. I wonder if it's coming with the what I backed. Or if I had to, I wonder if it was an add-on.
I wonder if it was as well.
Which when I just got the email of the
The pledge
survey just came
manager.
out. Survey
Yep.
just came out for Legacy of You, so I'll take a look at it.
Yep.
Because that's is perfect because my next game we're talking about is Legacy of You.
Of You, yeah, that's up here on my list as well.
That was the next one on down on my list. So,
nice. Did you know it's best with one player?
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, I went into this one because it's solo only.
Mm-hmm.
The theme, like that whole Asian theme, isn't my favorite in the world, but gameplay can override that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool from some of the like little gameplays I've watched of it, where you're trying to accomplish all your stuff before the wave or the river stuff comes in and takes out everything. So it's like a race.
Yeah.
And it's pretty complicated. It also has little like you just brought up there, like storybooks. There's like little things that pop up and events and stuff that you'll reveal and look at. And it's just it seems like there's a lot to this. And I like the direction they're going at these because all of these Garfield games have a solo mode to them.
Yeah.
But with this one being strictly solo, it's like they really put all their eggs into one basket with this, and it just I think it's going to be pretty cool. From watching that gameplay, it looks like it'll be a pretty solid a solid deal. Plus it wasn't super expensive either. So
no, yeah. I was also intrigued because of this, the solo only fully resettable non-linear campaign. And I also like the fact that the people look like people.
Right.
And it's a different artist.
Oh,
it was his brother, or it might be his brother. It could just be it could be a coincidence.
Oh,
Shem
yeah,
Phillips and Sam Phillips.
Just to answer a question we were talking about a second ago, I looked at what level I pledged at, and
of Legacy of You.
And yeah, and if you did the $70 one or 70 New Zealand dollars, which was like 40 something, 44.
Yeah.
You got the game, you got the Legacy of You Champion promo, the Hadrian'S Wall New Fates promo.
Oh, okay.
And then the Raiders of Scythia 4 Heroes promo. So if you did that level, then you're going to get that stuff we were just talking about.
I did. Oh, yep. Okay. Awesome. I was like, why the hell is mine 156? It's because I added Hadrian's Wall.
Right. Yep.
Because I don't own that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, so fantastic. And I actually own Raiders of Scythia.
I need to get Raiders of Scythia still. I've always pushed off. I've always pushed off not buying it because I have Raiders of the North Sea.
Of the North Sea, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, good deal. Yeah, this one is on my list as well. I'm just gonna see, and I was trying to see if Sam Phillips was, if it said like brother of Shem Phillips, but
this guy looks like he's from New Zealand, and Shem Phillips is from Poland.
Yeah, this says Kapiti, New Zealand, is an illustrator from.
I think Shem is from he's a Polish guy, I think.
Is a board game designer from New Zealand.
Oh, he is? Huh?
They have to be brothers.
Never mind. It could be then.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So my next one is probably also on your list as well, and that is another expansion to Maximum Apocalypse. Actually, I think it's a standalone.
It's a standalone / expansion, but yeah, it's online.
Standalone Wasted Wilds. So this is a post-apocalyptic, but multiple post-apocalyptics, not just nuclear. There's so many. There's robot, aliens, frozen, I think zombie, like all types of horrible events that they're trying to make into a roguelike series. And it's cooperative, and you're trying to fulfill scenario objectives, and you play a certain character that's specialized to their own character. This brings in which one? This one.
This one has the climate issue, where the weather and all that stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah. New twists of exposure to the elements and interactions with other survivors. Adds 2 distinct campaigns, 4 new characters, new mechanics, and tons of new monsters and apocalypses to face. So if you don't have Maximum Apocalypse, you can jump in and grab this one. But for people who have it already, it's just more content, and I think roguelikes especially need to always be pumping. If they're trying to be like, hey, it's a hit cooperative roguelike game series, it's like, okay, you have to keep it fresh as much as possible. And I think the gameplay in and of itself does that. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what the new apocalypses are. I probably could go on their Kickstarter to find out.
It was something. I can't it was my God. I can't remember. It's been such a long time since
I know.
looked at it.
Looked at this, yeah.
Because I think weather was one of the main deals.
Like main new things from it, yeah. Yeah,
But
I remember that being the case also. This one probably should be coming out relatively soon.
yeah, the last deal, the update was they were on their way. I mean, I don't think it's on a boat necessarily,
right?
But it's coming pretty soon.
Let's see.
I got it pulled up right here.
I was about to pull it up also.
Yeah, so Wasted Wilds. Let's see what their new deals are. It looks like it has
4 new characters: the chef, the driver, contractor, and thief. Those are, and then yeah, they have a clock board. Oh, so they have exposure cards and day and night cards.
Yes. So it's gonna mess up a lot of,
basically all your plans.
Yeah. So I don't see what the apocalypses are. Maybe it's just strictly just going into the weather stuff.
Well, maybe it has to do with the campaign they added.
Yeah, because it says it focuses on environmental impact. It says there are 2 distinct campaigns: the Frozen Wilds and Scorched Wasteland.
Oh, it might be these. Well, there's going to be the Rapture. That's cool. Allies of the Rapture. That's one of them.
Yeah.
At least. So yeah. So more stuff to Maximum Apocalypse.
It's never a bad thing. that was a pretty good one. For sure. It's
hard as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So their timeline says that it will be fulfilled between January and February of 23. That's the latest update. So
awesome.
So it's coming.
Yeah. Okay, you're up.
All right. So my next one is, let's see, where do I want to jump into right now? I think I'm going to jump into another Game Found reproduction of a game that I really, really enjoyed, but I jumped in on this one because it has the fancy bits, all the expansions, big box, and it's the 51st State Ultimate Edition.
Oh, that's right.
This one, it has a little bit of new stuff in it, but then it's like mostly just running through. It has everything compiled into one box. It has all the cool element, like the wooden resources and all that stuff instead of the chits. It's just better versions of stuff. They've done a little bit of rule tweaking. They've added a little bit of stuff. Like I said, you can get all of the expansions in this at once, and then I even put on a couple of add-ons of stuff that I was missing, like that they had these special things. I got the play mats and this other faction, the Uranopolis faction add-on and stuff like that, but they've tweaked it a little bit. This like the solo is a little smoother with this now.
Okay.
So it's just getting everything all together, nicely compiled into one spot, and they've tweaked the rules a little bit more, just to kind of get it a little bit more smoother. But yeah, this one's one that was a no-brainer when it came out, because I had just the basic retail version of the stuff, and then all those resources and stuff are pretty neat. It's just this is just it's just the more or less a reskin of Imperial Settlers.
Right.
It's just with a different theme, a few different mechanics. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but yeah, that's good. It should be coming before long too. I think so.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they will do this, but I'll be excited if they do a Nurashima Hex Ultimate Edition. Just get everything all in one.
Yeah, because I mean that they kind of shit the bed with that big expansion though, that Moloch expansion.
Rise of Moloch. That
they charged a fortune and it didn't have hardly anything in there. It was just like
it had the base
storage.
4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that was so stupid. Because it was like, glorified storage, and it came with the base 4 factions, but then it's like most of the other factions are out of print.
Right.
Like, I can't even fill this up. Yeah, that did not do well. Okay. My next one, let's go. Let's just continue on the expansion train. This one I actually had on my list last year, and that is War of the Rings. Okay, cool. It's War of the Ring. Kings of Middle-earth. Which I actually thought was supposed to be a Gen Con this year in 2022, but it is not. And they've actually had a few, three full expansions to War of the Ring. And this one adds new rulers and new leaders. So it adds the part rulers of the free peoples and their weaknesses, focuses on the kings. So the part they played is greatly expanded. So they have Theoden, Denethor, Dane, Brand, and Thranduil. So all the different kings from all the different races. Additional rules for siege battles, including siege machine figures. I think that's gonna be really neat because siege battles in War of the Ring is kind of stupid. It's kind of like, okay, I have to roll a 6 to hit. It's like, that's really lame. And then new units for the shadow armies. So yeah, it's having the different leaders and stuff in War of the Ring really open it up. Because I know in one of the expansions it's the Lords of Middle Earth, which include like I'm Lords of Middle. That one came out in 2012. It included, there we go, Elrond. Jesus Christ. Elrond, Galadriel, Smeagol, Gothmog, and the powerful Balrog of Moria. So yeah, having named characters in War of the Ring just to increase that what if factor of the head-to-head game is just going to be awesome. So yeah, that is one I'm excited for. Hopefully it comes out in 2023. Not sure when.
Hopefully I'll get to play this game at some point.
You can play it with me whenever we play Shadows of Brimstone.
Sweet. Okay. We'll set aside, 48 hours. And... All right. So my next one, I was kind of surprised when I was looking down my list of stuff because I thought that this Kickstarter project had already happened and I had missed it.
Oh, okay.
But then I looked it up on Kickstarter a couple weeks ago, and the project is starting November 1st. So it's actually coming to Kickstarter November 1st here in just like a couple weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And this is based on a video game that everybody was drooling over, like a roguelike that everybody was just freaking out over forever. I played it, really enjoyed the card play aspect and how fun it was on video game, and that Slay the Spire game.
I also thought this went on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's still November 1st is what it says. It says coming soon on Kickstarter, November 1st. Yeah. So I thought it had ran, and maybe I'm just thinking because of Darkest Night, maybe I got those all put together, or Darkest Dungeon, whatever one it was.
No, because I equally remember feeling this was on Kickstarter at some point.
But I mean, I just look at these pictures and it's like, yeah, that there looks like a pretty good representation of the board game where you have the cards and the symbology and everything looks out, and the way they have your little tree, the branching tree of all that stuff. It's like, man, this is like right on.
Out of all the video game adaptations, this one feels like it clicks the easiest.
Right, and it looks like it's fully cooperative, so you could play it solo. I mean, it's not going to be difficult at all to play solo because there's nothing. So I'm just like, yes. And it doesn't look like it shouldn't be super expensive because they're probably just going to have minis for the whatever 4 or 5 different hero classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just, of course, I see metal coins down there, but I don't know if those are just because it's a prototype.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one I'm really excited about, just because the video game is so effortless to play.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be neat to actually be able to sit at a table and actually physically play your cards
Go
and stuff.
through it. Yeah. And it works because it's a deck builder.
Right.
So
Right. Exactly.
I feel like with this one, I'm not gonna have that same feeling of like, well, why should I play this? I can play the video game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued on this one because of that reasoning. So yeah, I was actually excited to find out it didn't hit Kickstarter.
Oh yes, I just hit just a second ago, because I was like, notify me, because I hadn't hit the notify me button. So
Mm-hmm.
I am now going to be notified.
Yeah, I think I'm also yep.
Yep.
I'm notified
So
as well. So all right. Yeah, that's a good one. That is not on my list, actually. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, you're right. All right, I'm gonna stop it here because we have 2 minutes left.
okay.
What?
I said loser.
I didn't even hear that. Okay, so let's see. Yep, I'm gonna keep going down the expansion route. This one I believe you have played now. At least I think I remember you buying it, and this is the expansion to that, and that is the Honey Buzz Fall Flavors expansion.
I have not played the game yet.
You've not played Honey Buzz. It's extremely solid. Enjoy it quite a bit. It's in that kind of perfect filler puzzle game that I kind of attribute to Canvas and Calico and Cascadia, those kind of games where it's like you don't feel like you're going through the motions of just playing a lighter game. It's still engaging. I think you'll like it quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
But this is a modular expansion, which I think are some of the best ways to do expansions out there. And it adds 5 new modules to it that you obviously you can add any number of them in. A fall fruit module, which you sell collected apples, pears, and pumpkins for so new orders to go do. Autumn leaves module, collect colorful leaves found on the new leafy hive tiles as a means of decorating your hive for the queen. Nectar caps module, put caps on your nectar cells to prepare for winter. Harvest Festival module, trim your labor force by retiring your workers and sending them off to the Harvest Festival. And then a Sweetwater Sunset. When playing with fall flavors, use the new Sunset board to track progress towards the end of the game. So there's actually no pictures on this. It's surprising. However, this cover is extremely gorgeous. It actually kind of, I liked how they actually kept the expansion similar to what they did with the base game box. So yeah, if you like Honey Buzz, I think this is a no-brainer to go out and get, especially because it is modular that you may not like all of these, but if you like a majority of them, you can just, play with as many of them as you want in your game, especially because Honey Buzz doesn't have the most replayability in the world. Not that there's like none, but this definitely is a perfect breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like Honey Buzz, let me know, and then go out and pick this up.
Yep, sounds good. All right, well, I'm going to stay on the expansion deal too, and this is the first expansion to one of the hottest games of the last year.
Oh, this is definitely on my list as well.
The Arc Nova.
Yeah.
This one intrigues me a lot because in doing my researching of this a little bit, because this brings in a lot of the sea animals.
Yeah.
So you're going to get new enclosures and all that stuff, and the enclosures are going to have to be next to water. And then you also, there's going to be a bunch of cards that go into that massively huge deck anyway.
Yeah.
And what they do is, because like it says on this page, it's going to naturally that would dilute the deck for other purposes. So what they do is they all have a wave icon on them. So when a wave card goes into the display, then you discard the first card and put another one out. So it kind of gets you through the deck faster that way.
Okay.
You're not it's all, you're not getting hosed by, man, I need these goddamn monkeys and they're not popping out and everything.
Yeah, because the deck is this big, like
exactly. So but then they also are adding new action cards.
Oh yeah.
They're alternate versions. There's a little bit of a twist to the actions then this way too, to kind of freshen up that stuff as well.
Oh, and you draft them.
Right. So everybody's going to have a little bit of a different deal with it. So I mean, this game has so much that you can do anyway. But then they're throwing in that extra little bit of asymmetry and stuff to it as well, that it's just gonna, or asynchronous play, not asynchronous, what, asymmetry. I guess I said it right the first time. But so that way, you know, everybody doesn't have the exact actions, and they're not, you know, you can kind of mess with it a little bit, adds replayability. And this game's phenomenal anyway. I can only imagine what it's going to, the solo aspect of this game as well.
Oh yeah, have you still tried it solo?
I have. Yes.
Oh, you have. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's actually, I think it's preferred. Good. I think it's the best way to play this game is solo.
Yeah, I like it. 2 players works really well too.
2 players is definitely my max.
Yeah.
This game is way too long otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was almost a no-brainer. This one actually was relatively high, like out of the overall list. It was like number 30. So yeah, I mean, Ark Nova's fantastic.
Awesome. And it's going to sell like hotcakes.
Oh yeah. Yep. Are they? This isn't a Kickstarter, is it?
I don't believe so.
I think
it's just because the original wasn't like it just came straight out to. So I assume this will just come straight out to retail too.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, definitely on my list.
Yep.
Okay. Another expansion is to Canvas. This one I was actually surprised to see. There it is. This is the 3rd and final expansion in the Canvas series. This is one that also connects to the other pieces. So when you hang them up, they like fulfill like a full art piece. I think that's amazing. But yeah, like Canvas and then the Canvas Reflections, I think is what it was called, are awesome, you know, card crafting games about obviously art. And this one, it's like complete your works of art and show them off to the world with the new frames. These frames have a layer of interaction as players compete to have their work displayed on the gallery wall. And it each features platinum ribbons. Grab a platinum ribbon whenever your painting is framed in the gallery, and new scoring cards. So not a whole lot on information for what the individual frames do, but I think that's a really perfect way to like kind of end that kind of line of games, because Reflections added, you know, the swapping, like you could flip the cards over and they would have different icons or different, basically different icons on the other side, and added different ways to score. So I think that'll be a very nice touch. Like I just said, this is in that same line of puzzle, you know, still engaging games without it, like the theme and stuff and the way it looks doesn't take away from anything. It actually just enhances everything you're doing. I think Canvas is great. So I was excited to see they were making another one.
Yeah, another one I haven't played.
You haven't played Canvas? I think you would also like that one too. It has the same kind of crafting as like Mystic Veil and Edge of Darkness and stuff, but you're just making art pieces. So it's great. Yeah, we'll have to give that a shot. Yep. Also,
all right. Well, my next one was a Kickstarter that ended a few months back. I didn't back it on Kickstarter, but I've been hearing more stuff about it, so I'll probably pick up a copy at some point. It is actually by the John D. Clare,
okay.
Yeah, and it's called Rolling Heights.
Okay, I did back this one.
Yeah, and this one was intriguing because, you know, it looks cool on the table, if you look at those pictures anyway, but like you are rolling meeples, and if they're standing, they work hard and they give you extra actions and do special stuff. But if they're laying down, then they don't do anything. So it's kind of like a push your luck a little bit, because you're rolling meeples trying to get, you want them to stand up because then you're going to get more out of them. But then if you roll bad and they all lay down, then you're kind of you know, I just thought that was a unique mechanic of you're rolling meeples.
Exactly.
It's like, how did they come up with that? It's like, hey, let's see what we can do with meeples.
Right. I don't want to place them. What if we roll them? He's like, or he's like, he was sitting there and he's like, God, I can't think of anything. And he like throws the meeples and he's like, hold on.
Yes, 2 out of 6 landed upright.
What can I do with this? Another fat line of Coke. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
What if?
So,
Like,
and
John,
you're
you okay?
you're using those to build buildings, of course,
Mm-hmm.
actions and stuff, and then you gain prestige from building buildings, and you're just trying to, you're getting points from that, and
Yeah. It's
you
like a
can
city builder, like a shared city builder.
right. It's just intriguing. I think. I mean, the game itself, it looks cool on the table, but just that
Mm-hmm.
rolling meeple thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a unique mechanic that I've never seen done before.
Yeah. And again,
Boy, John.
Cowboy John, Yee John. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna say anything because I'm like, okay, that's not him. So that's some other they misdid the picture. But he's also a designer that doesn't really miss.
Well, he has a range. Like
Yeah.
space and Cubidos are
Mm-hmm.
lighter stuff, and then he goes, you know, all
Edge
around
of
with that.
Darkness. Yeah, Edge of
Right.
Darkness has a lot. He's really good on like card games, like having games with lots and
Yeah.
lots of cards.
And
Uh,
I have Ecos, but I haven't played it yet.
okay.
So
Have you played Dead Reckoning?
no.
Okay, Dead Reckoning is awesome. Like as a pirate game, it's really good. Does that same card crafting system that Mystic Vale and Edge of Darkness does. He also did Thunderstone Quest, right?
No.
That wasn't him?
No, that was Elliot. Mike
Oh,
Elliott.
yep, Mike Elliott. Yep, you're right. I was thinking AEG. So I was like, oh, okay, AEG. So it's obviously John. He's their only designer. Nope, that's not the case. Yeah, Rolling Heights. Actually not on my list. I also forgot that one too. But yes, that one will be pretty cool. All right, do I have any more expansions? I do. Let's go ahead and talk about this bad boy that's actually about to come off of uh
Oh yeah.
Kickstarter. And I
Game
thought they
found.
were
Game found.
game found. Oh yeah, God. Oh shit. Like door breaks open. It's the game found police. Yeah. So more Tainted Grail stuff, and boy oh boy, I will beat the core story at some point because I have the 2 other massive expansions for this, and I have this one backed. But which one? Because like they're all set. It goes. Oh, okay. So this is standalone story from the team behind Tainted Grail. Yada yada. New set of characters continues the stories of Fall of Avalon, Last Night, and Age of Legends, while also providing a perfect self-contained entry into the saga for new players. Okay, so it seems like it's kind of like their Nemesis Lockdown, because Nemesis Lockdown was kind of a standalone reset. Maybe not a reset, but you didn't have to play or do any of the other stuff. You could just play that. It sounds like maybe that's what this is. So it works well if you have all the stuff. It enhances that, but you don't have to have all that stuff. Cool. Yeah, it's more Tainted Grail, and it's Tainted Grail so good. Like it's fantastic. I love it. So yeah, that's another expansion.
Yeah, I wish I would have gotten into this game more. It was going to be a big sink for me as far as time.
Oh, yeah.
With Gloomhaven and all that stuff, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
never got this to the table, and I was just like, that's why I just didn't keep going in on it.
Yeah. Yeah, this would have been a solid one had you kept it around when you finished Gloomhaven. But then Frosthaven's coming out, so
Right, I'm trying to rush to get that because Frosthaven is going to take me another couple of years to beat, probably.
exactly. Yep, adding another 5 years for me. How long it'll take me to beat Frosthaven.
All right.
So yeah.
So my my next one is one I don't know if you've heard of this one. I only heard about it because it's been talked about on a couple of my podcasts I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And people talk about it because it has a really good solo mode, apparently. That's what they're saying. And
Okay.
it is called Brett's Walda. Bret.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. And this one is kind of like it's an early, like the whole, well, it says Britain, 796 AD. So it takes place, early in England or European history. And it's an area control kind of game, dice battling. It's it play, it's got decent looking stuff like that. It's got weird art, but the solo plays, from what I hear, is supposed to be really good on it, and that intrigues me a little bit because
Okay.
I do like this time period as far
Yeah.
as stuff. And what Brett Walda is like king. That's
Okay.
what Brett Walda means. It's because you're fighting over Britain. There's have you ever watched? Did you ever watch oh God, I can't think of the name of the show now. Netflix show, The Last King, maybe. It was like a Viking kind of stuff. It had
No, I
okay.
don't think I did.
Anyway, I watched all of that, and
Oh wait, Last Kingdom? Last
The Last
Kingdom. I
Kingdom.
watched
Yeah,
the
that's what
first
it was.
season and I was like, I hate this.
Oh, I loved it. I watched all those seasons. It's over now, and they're getting ready to do another branch off of it.
A
But
spin-off, yeah,
that dealt with Northumbria, Mercia, Wessex, and East Anglia. So this is like
okay.
time period, and so your area control battling over Britain, and it takes place over 12 seasons. You only take 2 actions per season, so I mean it's not a super long drawn out thing. But there's alliance building and bartering, which is the weakness to me because I don't like that. But with solo play, it's mainly on here for the solo aspect.
Okay.
Because from what I've been hearing, it's done well, and I'm intrigued to see what it.
Yeah, and if you play solo, you don't have to barter with anyone.
Right, you can barter with myself.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'll take all your resources for nothing. And I won, yay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and continue with dry fucking themes and go and talk about the enemy of the Christian faith, Charles Darwin. And and let's talk about Darwin's journey. So this one I backed. Don't even remember why I originally backed it. I had a headspace, but it's just because I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty neat. At least for me, it's like a worker placement Euro game in which players recall his memories through the Galapagos Islands, which contributed to the development of his theory of evolution. It's like sin. But it has its innovative worker progression system. Each worker will have to study the disciplines that are prerequisite to perform several actions in the game, such as exploration, correspondence, gathering, dispatch of repertoires found on the island to museums in order to contribute to the human knowledge of biology. Yeah, look at that. Look at that sweet, like exciting board.
It doesn't look that bad, really.
It really doesn't. It's also by Thundergriff Games, which did Garden. So, which is a obviously beautiful game. And actually, I do enjoy the cover.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It almost reminds me of like a little bit of the art style of what game am I thinking of? Like Takedo, maybe, or something like that. Like,
oh, okay,
just a little bit of the weird.
I kind of see where you're coming from. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize the artist for anything, but other than that, it's a heavy Euro about Charles Darwin and the theory of evolution. I believe I had watched a run through of this at some point, and I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be super good. So yeah, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say without actually obviously being able to play it. So I'm very curious about this though, the innovative worker progression system, like how that actually works, like if you need certain workers and certain actions, or if they stay there like from round to round, and it's like, oh, I've actually done this before, so now I'm able to do this. So you have to do a lot of forward thinking. I don't know, but that kind of has me Intrigued. I don't know what the hell
dare I
that
say
is.
that?
Oh, is
Dare
it?
I say the workers evolve?
Oh, do they? Wow. Yeah. All right, move on to your game. Just leave that there.
All right, so my next one is a sequel to another game that I've enjoyed. It's never really been a top 100 game for me, but was a fun game. And this one is also a standalone. It's really not meant to be mixed. It's called Monster Lands 2. It's 2 words, but
Cool.
Monster Lands is a game I've had for quite a long time. It was an old Kickstarter from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And what you did in that one is it took a lot of inspiration, I think, from oh God, I'm drawing a blank now. The Viking game that you don't like because of the trolls.
Oh,
Champions of
Champions of
Midgard.
Midgard.
Yeah,
I do like Champions of Midgard. I have 2
but
copies now,
I
remember?
know, but I mean, you initially
I did not.
didn't
I
like it,
used to not like it, right?
right? So it takes a lot of inspiration, the first game, from that. This one, I don't know a ton about other than it flips the script. You are actually the monsters now. In
Okay.
Monsterlands 2, so you are controlling a clan of you're playing as with clans of mercenaries against the monsters. So you're swapping roles a little bit. You're doing a little bit same gameplay a little bit. There's from what I can tell, there's a little bit of different stuff. You can acquire mutations and different stuff for your people. It's going to be pretty much it's a dice rolling worker placement with dice workers. I mean, you're using dice as your workers again, which is always a cool mechanic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's going down the same vein as the Champions of Midgard stuff. Ultimately, it's not
Okay.
the exact same game at all. It's just when you're talking about rolling the dice, gaining dice, placing the dice, and stuff like that. That it's kind of got that same stuff.
Yeah.
Monsterlands 1 is really fun. I really like it. It's still not as good as Champions of Midgard, but it's a fun. The art style is pretty neat and cool. And Monsterlands 2 is one it hasn't hit. I don't think it's hit Kickstarter yet, but yeah, it's like that last line of this one. It says, "Who is going to be the most infamous monster horde?" So it's like you're
Yeah.
trying to create the horde that's the most dominating, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one ranks up with the original.
Right. Yeah, it's always weird when board games make a sequel,
Right.
It's like, huh, okay. Is the first one obsolete now, or why didn't you
I
just
don't,
do an
and I don't
expansion?
think it will because I think you're playing the bad guys. You're playing the bad guys in the second one. You're playing the good guys in the first. I think
Oh, I see.
so. I think you're going to be able to own both of them.
Okay.
It's just going to be what changes they make
Yeah.
mechanically because it's been out. The first one came out
What was it? What is
probably.
it? 2018?
Yeah, I was going to say 17 or 18. I can't remember.
2018.
Okay, so I mean it's been out for a while. So,
True.
but yeah,
Okay.
that's that one.
Awesome. All right, let's see. All right, I think I'll get off of the expansions. No, I'm not. Here's one because this will probably be on your list as well. This one I'm surprised is also taking them as long in that. Oh wow, and that's Vindication Chronicles.
2021.
Yeah, that's the date that they got
That's
on
what the
BGG.
Kickstarter was.
Yeah, so yeah, clearly that's not the case because otherwise I would have it. But this is the second expansion to Vindication, but this one was their narrative expansion to where you actually the theme and stuff of Vindication, where you had a loose kind of role playing aspect of kind of how you wanted to tell your story, but this one actually includes all that, adds more narrative immersion and story to the existing Vindication experience. And the great thing about this is that this Kickstarter did come out, I think, right? It came out with a storage solution.
That's what we're all here for. We're all here for the storage solution.
Really? Yeah, right. We don't really care about this expansion.
It
We
was
just
an
wanna...
add-on, but
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. So, something that I obviously enjoy based off of my anticipated games, and yeah, adds a layer of decision and intrigue that bring your story to life. Each time you gain a card in the game, another player will draw and read a chronicle card, which will present you a narrative prompt and decision, ultimately telling the story of how you obtain that card. That's amazing. Like, that's 100% like a perfect expansion to this kind of game, and one I think will give this game a lot of legs of wanting to play it, because it's not a campaign or anything. You just play Vindication, and now you get a narrative element to the things you're doing. So, so yeah, I mean, apparently we missed out. It came out in 2021.
Well, here's what I want. If you go to their Kickstarter page real quick,
Yeah.
And look at the newest update. I want you to just look at something real quick, because they have these action trackers now. I don't know if you've seen those that were part of this campaign, and I think they're going to be really neat to keep track of. So look at update, the newest update. Because if you scroll down a little ways, there's that right there. They're action trackers. So each character is going to have one of those, and you just slide it over to show that you've done.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of a neat little addition, you know.
Yeah.
That
I don't know why I also like that. I like the fact that you just slide it over. That's a little bit more nicer than like flipping something.
Right. So it's kind of neat that, you know, you track they've added that little aspect to it.
Yeah, with the actions on the side of everything you can do. That's cool.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
It's looking like the beginning of 2023 is when it's
probably. I feel like it was kind of nearing its end.
Yeah. It's looking. It says production is still production is still ongoing. Our partners still anticipate things on the boats in the final quarter of this year.
Okay.
So we're still looking at January, February. So, all right.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this one out of the way, because it's gonna be silly, and it's the theme is not why I am necessarily wanting this game. But it is a collectible card game, and it's Disney themed. Okay. It's called Disney Lorcana.
Is this their jump into trying their compete with Magic the Gathering?
Do LORC. It's down that vein. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
It's I don't know. It looks interesting, like the stuff I've been seeing about it online, and the stuff I've been
nothing here.
Yeah, it's that, you know, the art's really cool, of course, because it's Disney art, and it's like Magic. I mean, you're battling against another deal. You're playing different cards and stuff, and it's Ravensburger's the publisher, so it's going to be decent quality stuff. It's just you know, it's to me, I almost get the feel of like it reminds me of like the Kingdom Hearts stuff a little bit. Yeah, like when you have those characters and you're battling and stuff. But the only drawback is the whole TCG version of it. But I'm hoping that they have a decent starter set to at least just, you know, like if they have some sort of a starter set or something like that. But people are going nuts for this game, because when they had the D23 conference, the Disney convention, they gave out promos, like a pack of promos for this.
Okay.
It was just a limited deal. And they're fancier versions of cards that you'll be able to get in the packs down the road. You know, like they're like, whether they're have special different art or whatever on them.
Oh, okay.
But you get on eBay right now, and they're selling for like $900 per card, $1,000 per card. I'm just like, holy shit!
Wow.
And
I mean, hey, it's already competing with Magic in that sense.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I just want to try it. It's on here just because, you know, I like card games. I don't know what they're laying out, if they're going to lay out starter sets and then do packs to bolster.
They'd have to.
Yeah, so
Like,
I want to
yeah.
get the starter set and just try it.
If
You
there's
know,
a
just to
start,
see.
I would definitely try a starter set. Here's the thing. It has Disney's name on it. That's promising. Ravensburger, I mean that's not. I mean, there's nothing. I don't have anything against that company. I just don't. That's a weird publisher
Mhm.
to be able to support a trading card game. You know.
Right.
So I'm in that mindset of because I remember being like, oh, Disney's competing with Magic. It's like, no, they're not. No
Oh
one's
no.
competing with Magic.
Right.
Like it can't happen anymore. I'm sorry. It's 29 years old, still going strong.
I,
But
I
so
I think it's just this the way to get kids and stuff in,
yeah,
and stuff too, because I mean it has all the characters. It ranges
right.
from old school Mickey Mouse to the Frozen characters
Hmm.
and stuff, and everything.
Yeah. Yep. I
Um,
would love to, yeah, if they came out with like because like Magic used to, I think they still do, came with like the dual decks where it was two precons.
mhm.
So it's like, if they came out with precon decks, it's like, sure, yeah, just to see what your system's like, I'll give it a shot. Um, like I'm not a Disney adult because
Oh,
uh,
I'm not either. I'm
but
just
it's like I like Disney as much as the next person. Disney movies, sorry, not the
right.
Walt Disney was he's my hero. Um, but so yeah, this one is definitely interesting. Not on my list in any
Yeah.
way, but
I'm just
yeah,
intrigued. I'm always intrigued when a new card game comes out.
you're
I'm
tr-
always
you're
willing to
trying to
try like the starter sets, whether it's the
yeah,
Warhammer Champions that I tried
you're
that one
like
time or
you're like, is this gonna be my new
no. I
Android Netrunner?
oh no
Like,
no. I'm not expecting that at all. I think it's
yeah,
just be a fun one to just have a starter set of. I'm not gonna go into it hardcore or anything, but
yeah. I'm
just
just
to
amazed
try
they
it
don't
out
have
and see.
anything. Like I clicked on their thing, it's like, hey, the official link, come here, and it's like,
You can see
hey,
some of the cards on eBay when you get on there, but you can or
yeah,
Facebook page
oh
has
wait,
it, but it's not worth really looking at. It's a basic TGG thing. They're gonna have
mm-hmm,
shields, they're gonna have attack, they're gonna have values to play them.
yeah.
The same stuff.
Does the art are they like screen caps from like the like
I it's hard to say because the
okay.
animation it's drawings anyways,
Yeah,
so it's hard to say
because
whether they're
it's like, oh, here's you're playing Simba, and it's like very obviously they just took a still from the Lion King and just put it on a card. It's like it'd be
I can't
really
say.
cool if they that's the obvious route that they would take, but it'd be really cool if they didn't and actually had new art. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, still, this is unique. We'll see. We'll see how it works. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I think I finally ran out of expansions to talk about.
I don't think I have any expansions either.
So now I can go into actual games. Let's get this one out of the way. No, let's not. Let's uh let's talk about one that might not even be coming out in 2023 or at all. So um let's talk about Mortal Kombat the miniatures game. So this is from the same company and same designers that did the Street Fighter miniatures game that has the best minis I have seen come out, at least pre-painted minis. Like these, I mean, if you look at Street Fighter, Street Fighter the miniatures game, which is a extremely fun and solid Street Fighters game. Like those minis are fucking sexy. They were so well done. I have a display case for them all. So, and the game is actually really good too. So, when they announced Mortal Kombat, which is more my speed of fighting games, this is what I played growing up. Um, Out of all like Tekken and Street Fighter and stuff like that, I went Mortal Kombat. I was like, oh hell yeah! And it's the exact same system. You can combine them. So if you could have Shao Kahn versus Akainu, or you could have Liu Kang versus Ryu, if you wanted to do that. Um, the reason why I'm talking about this right now is because this was slated to go on Kickstarter in April of 2022, but then got pushed back, and nothing is really, because this is also done by Joe Vargas, who is Angry Joe on YouTube, and he hasn't really talked about it on his channel. as much. So I don't know. I don't know really what's happening. If this even does go on, it's on Kickstarter, it's happening in 2023, and there's no way it's getting done the same year. This would definitely just be more optimistic. So, because as far as I know, yeah, they emailed Jasco starting about the status of the game. It's in the pipeline, but no release date yet. So it says maybe they're waiting to release along with MK12, because I think NetherRealm Studios is making a new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So maybe they're gonna, put this on Kickstarter with that new content, which would
Maybe.
be smart. Who knows? As long as it's still the same system but obviously different. I feel like you have to have fatalities and stuff like
awesome.
that. It would be so cool.
They need to have those side miniatures that show the fate, like have like
it's like
holding a spine in the head.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be dope. Yeah. Because like Street Fighter obviously doesn't have that, but if you do the same card system and maybe tweak it a little bit to incorporate fatalities or brutalities, I think that would be awesome. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yep.
Probably not even coming out in 2023, if at all.
See. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, my next one is
got 4 minutes left.
Yep. My next one is called Earth.
Oh, I also have that on my list.
Oh yeah. It is the cover of this game is just gorgeous anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But this one's one that I kind of just stumbled upon while I was making this list. Actually, I'd heard about it, but I'd forgotten. I know you're gonna like it because it's the whole engine builder thing. That's kind of the main aspect is engine building with everything. It's open world. It has all the nice art. It's gonna fit. It goes right along with all those nature games that you have been coming out over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it even goes into the deal where you're trying to create a self-sufficient ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like it even talks about in the deal, you're doing that where your unused plants become compost for future growth. I mean, it seems like it, and that weight, it says it's a 2.86, which I know it's not out yet, so who knows, but
yeah.
But you would think, to me, it seems like it could be pretty damn in depth with all the possibilities and stuff that and all the iconography and stuff. But
I think, the thing that's going to be carrying this is that's photorealistic art. I mean, maybe probably because they are photos. Because there was a game that came out this year called Keepers. And it's basically Coffee Table Book, the game, where it's just this dude's artwork, which is phenomenal. It's amazing artwork, or this dude's photos. And that's what I was kind of looking at this. It's like, man, I really hope it's not the same where it's it's trying to go off of its photos of everything and not actually have any substance. But no, this one does look like it's an actual game behind it.
It kind of reminds me of Arc Nova, the cards a little bit. Some of them are actual, like stuff like that.
Exactly.
And the company that did this has done a few games. They're big, probably their most popular one being Summit, and that's the one that most people would know them for. But yeah, I mean, this is one that I know I could get played around here. So
they also did Block and Key, which is okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was my next one was Earth. We'll see. I don't know if it's coming Kickstarter or what the deal is with it.
It was already on Kickstarter.
Okay,
I backed it already.
Then I missed it, so I'll have to catch it some other time.
Yeah. Yep. I had this one backed, and then they had an add-on for like a playmat, and they had 4 playmats that were awesome. And I was like, I don't need 4.
Right.
Oh God, which one of these photos do I like better? I guess I'll go with this one. It was like a mountain with like a purple backdrop, and I'm like, that's definitely more at my speed.
Okay.
So yeah, this was on my list also.
All right, good deal.
Okay, now let's get this one over with because I don't think it's gonna be on your list, but I'm still slightly intrigued. Maybe because I just like punishment, but this theme just draws me in.
It is on my list.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if
I'm
it was.
intrigued. You know.
Yeah. So Lucky Duck Games, Van Ryder Games. The Dark Quarter is basically their new app-driven game set in a dark fantastical vision of 1980s New Orleans. Take control of a Beaumont agent, and basically it's like a noir style, but with like more mysticism and, like I said, fantastical element. It's a world of magic where hexes and curses are sold on every street. Voodoo priestesses and creatures of the night are lurking around every corner. It says through multi-scenario campaigns, the game tells a rich, dynamic story and invites players to make critical decisions. Here's why I think this is going to work, because obviously it's Lucky Duck. They make fantastic games. The one that was the biggest flop for us was Destiny's, because I still have no idea how people are thinking that game's amazing.
Still just
they're like, it's the best fucking game that's ever come out. And I'm like, okay, that's
I think it's a stepping stone. Like if they could build upon that.
Right. It's like, I mean, obviously it's not like the worst game ever made, but I don't know. I thought because I have a problem with like competitive quest games where it's like you go somewhere and talk, especially when they're narrative driven. Fallout did this, and it's like, oh, you go talk to this guy. He's like, hey, my sheep's missing. And then it's over here. And I'm like, huh, I'm just right here. And I know about the missing sheep because fuck it. It's all shared information anyway. So I complete the quest. That was annoying. Destiny's was also about like everyone has individual, secret goals, but it's like, no, one person has a different goal and two people are kind of aligned. And then the solo was just play on the app. Don't even touch the board. So, but here's why I think this one's going to work better, because it's fully cooperative. That's what makes this probably, and I actually think the theme is very, very cool. But because it's a cooperative app-driven game, if it's doing the you don't have those. You don't have that competitive nature of someone completing a quest they have no idea about.
Right.
Weird secret objectives that everyone has. So yeah, I think getting immersed in a world like this that is hardly ever touched on, not that noir isn't ever, not done, but making it more, this feels a little bit more, Lovecraftian. I think maybe 19, just 40 years later, 40 to 60 years later. So we'll see. We shall see. Destiny's didn't like turn me away from Lucky Duck. I wasn't like, okay, well, they're just dead to me.
Oh no, not at all.
But and it also has Van Ryder games on it.
They did like the story part. The Van Ryder games did like a lot of the story parts of it and the content, because they like that horror stuff. So I mean, that's where they came in with a lot of it.
Lucky Duck did the app.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Van Ryder games. I probably had. I mean, I know they did stuff with gameplay too, but a lot of the story came from those guys. Because if you look at the designer Evan Derrick,
I was about to look.
He's.
Oh, there we go. That's why
he is from Van Ryder Games. Like, so he did a lot of, because he does a lot of the he likes horror stuff.
I mean, take a look at it. He did Detective City of Angels and Final Girl.
Right.
So that's okay. Well, that makes me even more excited, because I was about to say Detective City of Angels is one of the best whodunit like games out there. So throw in a horror mystical theme on top of that, and obviously Lucky Duck with its amazing app integration. Yeah, I think this is going to be. I have very high hopes for this one.
I hope so. I backed it at $1 and then never did end up adding more.
Never finished it. So, yeah, I think you still late pledge.
Yeah, so I might. We'll see. But
yeah.
All right. So my next one, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about because it's kind of hopeful or wishful thinking. But this will be the third adaptation in the Resident Evil board game deal, where this is Resident Evil the board game, but it goes back to the original. So they've kind of weird with it. They did Resident Evil 2 and 3 before they did the original. And the thing that intrigues me about that, each one of them has gotten a little better. So, and then this one also goes back to the original, where you're going back to the Spencer Mansion. It's like, so it's the old original Resident Evil theme and stuff. So I didn't back this. I want to give it a try because, like I said, they have been getting a little bit better. So I'm just kind of hopeful.
I mean, let me guess here. It's this right here.
Yeah, that's why I didn't back it. Like, they've all been that, and the game, like I said, the gameplay's gotten better, each one of them. But
it's like this company, Steamforge specifically, is like right there. Like they're missing something. They get all these IPs. They get Skyrim. They get Elden Ring. They get Dark Souls. Fucking Horizon Zero Dawn. They get these IPs out of nowhere. I don't know where their money is coming from. Like how they're paying.
A lot of money on IPs.
I know. All these Resident Evils, and yet I guess not all of their games, but Dark Souls fell flat. I mean, but they make amazing. Like, I still will say the board game of Dark Souls, the boss fights were the best part. And I know that it's been, homebrewed to hell, and that probably makes it worth it. But then Horizon Zero Dawn, then they did Monster Hunter, which I almost backed because I was like, well, if it's just boss fights, then that's their cream of the crop. Yeah, so I don't know. This company I don't have faith in them either. I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan also. And I know you are, but I mean,
I love Resident Evil.
The Resident Evil 2 remake was amazing.
The four remakes coming out, I think, in 20.
Yeah, it is.
So, yep.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. It looks like this is a campaign game played over 27 hours.
It's just like the others. This is going to fall just like 2 and 3 that Steamforge did. It just, like I said, the gameplay was a little tighter and then the last one. So I'm hoping this one kind of keeps going in that same vein, and then having a mansion, the old original stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So let's go with this one. So ignoring this one, but going to the last one I think you talked about was Earth. Let's talk about the Rangers that will be in there. Earthborn Rangers, which is by Sadler Brothers are in on that, and then Andrew Fisher as well. This one, if I'm not mistaken, was this the one that the entire platform was basically do everything like natural, like it's being made in the States?
Yes, they're making it. Well, they're making it in hubs. Like there's a European hub that's making it for the Europeans. And everything, they're trying to be as green as possible with everything.
Yeah, like everything is like recycled, like all the components are from recycled stuff, which I mean, I think that's amazing. I feel like more companies should be doing that. Just not if you can. But customizable cooperative card game set in the wilderness of the far future, a protector of the mountain valley you call home. So I remember specifically that there's like nothing violent about this game. Like, I don't even think you can hunt in this. So I don't know if there's like anything. You're just trying to explore the wilderness is really kind of what it's at. Like, I don't know if you're being a cartographer. I don't know if you're supposed to be.
You're just exploring the world. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
This was one, like when they first got announced, I was like extremely excited about this. And then I kept watching or hearing more and more reviews or previews and all this stuff, and I ended up just not backing it.
Really?
Just because it's kind of like an open world cooperative type thing, but it was like it just didn't seem exciting. Like,
it's kind of like, what do you do? You
right,
know?
Exactly. And that was kind of why I just backed off, because I was like,
I mean, the story of Earthborn Rangers is presented as a branching narrative campaign consisting of a main storyline and a multitude of side stories. In it, you can choose to follow the critical path or to strike off on your own to discover the valley's many engaging characters, mysterious ruins, and beings both familiar and strange. So it's like, okay, well, that sounds
It's
awesome.
Seventh Continent.
Yeah, that sounds like Seventh Continent. Yeah, that's really, but I mean, in Seventh Continent, you're kind of alone. You don't really meet up a lot of people. But yeah, so it's like, okay, like, is this going to be like a Stardew Valley kind of thing where it's just everything is pleasant and
Right.
hey, oh man, there's old Billy over there. What's he doing? Let's
I
go
want
talk to
killing
him.
and death.
Right. I want to be depressed. Yeah, so I think this will be a nice change of pace if it does the narrative. I mean, I feel like for a game that's going off that premise, the narrative has to be really good.
Yeah.
So again, we'll see, but I also like the fact that everything was green and how they
Oh yeah, that was the coolest part about it, I think, and that's almost why I backed it, just to support them, but I just ended up not. They got $1. They got $1 from me. All right, so my next one is a kind of a big sprawling game. I don't know a ton about it other than a friend of mine's he's kind of been promoting it through his Facebook platform a little bit. And it's called Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. So this is a cooperative campaign driven game that's
oh god, there's so many of those.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi dungeon crawler. You have to do a lot of it's like covert stuff. Like there's a lot of sneaking around kind of stuff too, which I kind of like because that's kind of I enjoy those kind of things. But it has 30 plus missions in the campaign.
Okay.
And you can alter or upgrade your operatives throughout the campaign and stuff as well. It was just one that kind of caught my eye a little bit, and seeing different stuff from and each operative has their own unique deck as well of cards.
That's nice.
So that's kind of neat, so they each have their own access to powerful actions. They can develop these decks over the course of the campaign as well. So like you can upgrade the deck throughout the campaign.
Neat.
So if you want to work on making a combo of some sort or whatever.
Yeah.
This was one, it went on a Kickstarter a few years ago, and then they canceled it, I believe.
Okay.
To kind of update it and make it a little more cleaner and stuff, and then it did really well on Kickstarter the last time it was there.
Yeah.
So this is just one I want to mess with. I didn't back it because my friend that's been promoting it's getting a copy of it, so I'm just going to play his. But
yeah.
But yeah, it was a decent one. I don't know much about the company, like Dark Horizon Games. I don't think they've done anything.
Nothing.
Right. So I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of,
canceling. I don't know. Canceling Kickstarters always makes me be like, you know what? I was gonna give you the shot. Now I don't have any faith in you.
Yeah, but I can't remember like how much it made. But it did pretty well, I believe. The relaunch. I feel like
I saw this and I might have stayed away from it.
It made 206,000. I mean, it's so ultimately that's not
amazing
thing, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it comes with 89 minis and stuff. Okay. So it's just one I want to give a shot to, because
especially if you don't have to pay for it.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Which one do I want to talk about next? Let's do this one. Hegemony.
I figured that was going to be on your list somewhere.
Yeah. Well, this one is actually really cool because I got Campaign Trail in about a week ago, and that's obviously about running in in politics, and And at first I was thinking hegemony was the same thing, but it's not. I mean, it says it's a politico-economic Euro game, but what's neat is you play members of a certain class, so, and it's asymmetric. So you can play the working class, middle class, capitalist class, and the state itself, and how obviously each of them affect one another. Like middle class basically just gets shit on the whole time. And then capitalist class just gets everything great for them, but then the working class is like obviously kind of perceived to be at the bottom, but it's like, oh well, you actually need us to do a lot of stuff to get you. So like everyone's integrated with one another in various ways. And then you make, like, you can go on strikes or something. You can actually push to get laws passed to fit agendas that benefit your class. I really like the idea of this one, especially because this is a theme that's never touched on, especially in gaming. So, I mean, yeah, because you like labor market, taxation, welfare, and then for education and health benefits, and you can be pushing for one thing or the other because it's like, well, okay, look, hey, we gave you guys health care, so now we need to be able to tax the shit out of you. And that's kind of how the game works. I think it, from the gameplay that I have seen, it looks extremely solid. And I know, if I'm not, I guess I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe that the rule book has a bunch of like information in it. So they've definitely done their research of making sure that this is as accurate as possible. Hegemony is heavily based on actual academic principles such as a social democracy, neoliberalism, nationalism, and globalism, and allows players to see their real-world applications through engaging gameplay. There are many ways to achieve hegemony. Which one will you take? I think that's really cool. It might also be educational in some way, where it could teach people, like, a little bit about how fucked everyone is.
Right.
And yeah, it's, I mean, a politico-economic Euro game. I feel that's kind of definitely more up my alley. Not as heavy as some Beetle games, but it's definitely there. It looks like there's a lot going on, especially with everyone being asymmetric.
Right.
So yeah, that's mine.
Oh, all right. Well, my next one I'm going to talk about is a very pretty game.
Okay.
The art style's nuts. It's from a publisher we just talked about a little bit ago. That's Lucky Duck Games. And it is Divinus. This one is one that intrigues me quite a bit, because it seems like it has some unique systems to it. And like the guy, like you just had on there, he was part of making Destinies, right? But so this is a competitive legacy tile laying digital hybrid game. And what's cool about it is you're playing as God. You're controlling gods, from what I understand. Like Norse and Greek gods and stuff, and you're running through this 12 scenario campaign. Actually, you're interacting with gods, so you're demigods. And you're just battling it out, and I just like how it looks on the table. Like it's bright and it's colorful. You're laying tiles to do different things. There's dice rolling, and it's just one of those. It's kind of caught my eye. Like I like the box cover is really cool. Just because
it's funny, the box cover is kind of what turned me off from
really
it. Yeah. And the fact the designer was the designer for Destinies.
Exactly, yeah. And
I was like, nah. Or at least he was involved, I guess.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, I don't know. Would it being a full-on legacy, like 12 deals, so the world changes after each game. It even says the rule book grows with each scenario, so it looks like kind of like Aeon's End, where you're going to be throwing stuff into the rule book, between stuff, and then you can replay it after the campaign's over, which
Yeah.
it's just one of those ones. I mean, it was one it intrigues me because of how it looks, and I like tiling stuff. And I like the whole Greek and Norse god mythology stuff.
Right.
So
No, this one definitely could be super solid.
yeah,
Especially if it's a legacy game that actually has a narrative element to it. I'm intrigued to see how they use the app in this
yeah,
one.
because it says, what does it say? It's
As you make
the
pivotal
Divinus app
decisions.
provides a narrative for players and sets the stakes for what is to come. And
Okay.
each turn, players spin dice from their pool to explore new tiles from the world board.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it has potential. I mean, Lucky Duck Games is going to get my attention regardless, and then that's why I didn't back it, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I said with a couple others, I'm in a holding pattern. I want to see what people think about it when it comes out. Um, just because it has no
Yeah.
solo aspect to it at all, so that's why I have to be really picky on whether I think I played or not. So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on that. Let's see. Okay, so this one I might actually get a chance to play a prototype copy. And this is I saw this company, very small company at Gen Con, they were talking about a hidden movement game. And most of the time I like those. And this one has a really neat idea behind it. It's called the Stifling Dark. And this one utilizes, so yeah, one versus many hidden movement horror game with an innovative line of sight mechanism. And this is what intrigued me when I saw that Gen Con. I'll actually go to their Kickstarter page.
So what was that video game that used flashlights that was in the dark?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I mean, like it was a mystery game, and you would run around, and then like stuff would come at you, and if you shine the flashlight on them, they would go away. And I can't think of it.
Amnesia?
No, I'll look for
No.
it. You
Okay.
I'll see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, this one utilizes there's a creature. I can't remember if they have more. I think they said they had plans for more like enemies, like who the one plays as. But yeah, this is the kicker right here is the flashlights. Uses the novel flashlight system to simulate true line of sight in the dead of night. Transparent acrylic templates quickly show exactly what the investigators can see and what spaces may still have things lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
think this is super cool. This is a very thematic mechanic to have in the game.
It's Alan Wake. Did you ever play Alan Wake?
I did not. I have not
Yeah,
played
it's
Alan
really
Wake.
cool. It does a lot like this because like
Okay.
you're being stalked and stuff, and they'll come up, but if you shine a flashlight on them, then they disappear.
Gotcha.
Stuff, and then your flashlight's constantly running out of batteries and your stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
I thought you were initially thinking of and I can't even think of it, but it wasn't a flashlight, it was a camcorder. And so that's how you saw stuff, but like you had to have batteries to keep it running, and that was a horror game.
Right.
So the small flashlight is included in the base game, while the large flash is part of the Nightfall expansion. So I remember seeing this at Gen Con. I'm like, oh, that's very intriguing. Like that makes sense of them having to, run around through the map trying to have their light. That's the only way that they can see. And so they have, okay, looks like they have two adversaries, the Butcher and the Insatiable Horror, and then a stretch goal for the Cult of Hunlo. I did reach out to them, so I might get a prototype copy to just kind of see. Go away. And yeah, I think this is a very unique one versus many hidden movement game that hopefully doesn't feel like all the other ones. And I know Level 99 made not Dying Light, Dead by Daylight, but that board looked atrocious. So I was like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna pass on that. So
yeah,
like, what does it say? Yeah, this game ends when either all of the investigators escape or the adversary achieves their win condition. And I guess that's different for each adversary. So hopefully it does well. I know it's funded, obviously 613%. So I don't even know who this company is. I think this is their only game. Yep. So hopefully it
Interesting.
does well.
All right. So we're getting down to the gritty here. So, I don't know if you have this one on your list or not, because I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm interested because of the company that makes it. And that is Dawn of Ulos. From
Yes.
Yeah. So
Thunderworks.
yeah. This one, it takes place in that universe that they have all their other stuff in. This one intrigues me. I didn't back it.
I didn't either. I meant to, but I just forgot.
We go, they always do late stuff, but
yeah,
I can't put my finger on it if it's going to be really good or if it's just going to be really mediocre.
So I can actually tell you a little bit more about this game because I talked to the designer at Gen Con. If you want me to hop in real quick.
Go do it. Because what I was going to say was I've loved everything these guys have put out, but I get strong lockup vibes from this.
Right.
Like not the gameplay, but just like I feel like it could flop like lockup. I'm just like, so that's why I kind of stayed back.
Yeah. Like I didn't much care for lockup either. There's definitely an area control, not set collection, but terrain connection placement. So what you're doing is you have these the races, so Flair and stuff, and they have preferred terrain that they want. And so whenever you're placing them out on the board, you're placing those terrain pieces out to try and match the things that they like. And then you take these minis and you place them onto the terrain that they that they prefer. So like in this picture, you have the Mind Flayer. Where was he? Yeah, so the Mind Flayers. So for every 2 Flayer strength, you may treat one card that you committed to the conflict as if it were a different faction. So the factions are battling. So kind of think, I don't know, Small World for what? That's the only thing I can think of is like fantastical factions fighting one another. And it's whoever gets the most points by the end of it. So depending on which race you kind of want to utilize and how terrain you want to place down on the board to place them out to then have them fight other races that you can beat in strength that moves you up on victory points. That's kind of how the game works. I see where you're coming from kind of with the lockup style is like, well, all their narration games are super good, but then there's cartographers and then role player. So it's like, okay, is this too much of a departure? Is this gonna be more like lockup? That's kind of why, because to be fair, whenever it was being described to me at Gen Con, I wasn't like enamored by it.
Right. Exactly.
So
I like it. I'm intrigued because I love that role player universe, but I think I'm spoiled too much with the other 2 things that I like so much that I don't know how this one would fall.
Yeah, like I don't remember how much it was going to be backed, and because I don't know, I think it's more of just because of the fighting fantasy races, but I'm also sitting here and thinking ethnos. Like it's obviously nothing like that, but it is kind of it says economic tile laying game. And yeah, they have a strength value depending on just where they're placed and how they're placed. So I mean, I don't think this is going to be, making it in anyone's top 10s.
Yeah.
Yep. So it might make, it's probably going to make someone's, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's funny if it's, huh?
You like that guy's games?
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, okay,
backyard chickens.
But he did the solo expansion, so for some reason, yeah, it's actually not like in my list, but I am aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have a few more.
I really only have one more.
You have one more
that I want to talk about.
Yeah, because a lot of the ones that were in this list were actually in your 20. So let's see. Yeah, this is one I would rather talk about. Robomon.
I don't know.
We'll just do this one as this. We'll just make this one my last one.
Okay.
Robomon reminds me of Pokemon, especially the gameplay, because you actually is an exploration focused, story driven open world game of robot combat for 1 to 2 players.
Interesting.
All the animals went extinct, and so Robomon were invented to piece the environment and ecosystems back together. It's literally the oh hey, now it's no longer animal cruelty. We have these robots
Mhm.
battle each other. Explore the book of maps and work your way through the adventure book to complete quests, solve puzzles, and defeat gym leaders. Earn
Yes.
enough badges to become a fully licensed Robomon Ranger and win the game. So this has narrative elements. This is like the opening location where you can go to Gramps Mechanics and to the Bolt Mart and
Right.
stuff. This looks like it's probably a battle stuff, but like if you zoom in, you could see there's the attack, or like the robots.
And they are like really close to ripping off, aren't they?
They really are, yeah.
The cards even look like just I mean, it's crazy.
Like I think this is their health, and that's like their speed, and then yeah, there are different types of attack. Maybe this is their health, the bolts. But I think it's super cute. I mean, obviously there's no Pokemon games that are being made, so be just as close. And yeah, it's can I find the narrative book? Yeah, here's a narrative book.
Gotcha.
So you right here, because it's like I think it's supposed to be based around like the Spiral Brown book, and it's like, oh,
Right.
okay, I want to go to Gramps Mechanics, and then you go to 12, and then it has a comic book thing, and then you read the whole thing, and it tells you what to do. You pick out your Pokemon,
Mhm.
and then yeah, you keep track of your Pokemon, your name, the patches that you have, certificates. It is literally Pokemon, but
Yes.
obviously without it. And I haven't kept up with Pokemon in years, but I'm
Mhm.
like Gen 1 to Gen 2, and they're like on Gen 15.
Yeah.
But I still love that world, like the overall aesthetic of that world. So I'm like, hell yeah, like definitely getting behind this, and I think this could just be really cute and a lot of fun. And who knows? Hopefully, the actual battling is innovative and thought provoking. So you actually have to be tactile when you're, because who cares if your robot dies?
Mhm. Yeah.
Build
Exactly.
another one. Although in Pokemon, it's like free healthcare. It's like, oh man, all of them fainted. Okay, just heal
That
them.
that bottom line of the description. Each game session can take 5 minutes or 5 hours, depending on how long you want to play. I'm like, oh god.
This is, and it's funny because this is, Sleeping Gods can be the same way. It's
Yeah.
like, but who the hell is like, all right, I set it up. Let's read one paragraph. All right, let's put it up, everyone.
Exactly.
It's like, why did we do that? So yeah, this one actually was my number 23. It was actually very close to being an honorable
Really.
mention or in the list. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's
Uh,
mainly because it's so obviously Pokemon that it's
yeah.
like climbed up. So
All
yeah.
right. So my next one, I'm surprised you haven't talked about already, and it might be one that's still on your list. And you have one job with this. How you help describe this game is going to decide whether I finish my pledge manager for it or not, because I'm on
Oh,
the fence.
okay.
That's Title Blades 2, Rise of the Unfolders. Um, I still haven't finished my pledge manager on this. I
Same.
need to. I don't know, man. It looks cool, and it's got the whole map book
Mm-hmm.
thing and all that stuff, and it looks awesome, just like the original stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
What's keeping you away
it's
from it?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't decide because it's like it's $160 for
I
it. I
think
mean,
that's
that's
the problem.
probably the one reason because
It's fucking expensive.
it's really expensive for a an 18 scenario
Mm-hmm.
game. I mean,
This world is so fresh though.
it is, and I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think it's $160 plus whatever the shipping is. I haven't looked at to get it because I only put $1 down on it just to get the pledge manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays, like they say. I mean, it's best at 1 and 3 is what they say. So it's like it's right down my alley as far as running solo. But
yeah,
I just don't. I don't know, man. I like the whole map book thing. I love the art. I like the world.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't
Let me look
know.
at that. There's it's a dungeon crawl. It's I mean, I know it says 18 scenarios, but it says specifically narratively rich. So, but
Right.
and then 40 plus hours. So it really kind of depends. Let's say it's 100. How much did you say?
$159.
Okay, so let's say with shipping it hits 200. Let's just say shipping is outrageous.
Right.
Let's just be egregious about it. Is 40 plus hours is that enough to justify a $200 spend?
I don't know, man. I'm just like, because I don't know, because doing that expensive, the 159 is the deluxe version, which is what I would want because I have the of the original.
Yeah.
And it's just the game. It has its miniatures and resource upgrades,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get promos.
Right. It invites you on a quest through the lush and vibrant lands of Naviri. You will meet valuable allies, have a chance and encounters with Golflins. I think that's Iota and other denizens of Naviri. Battle a seemingly endless army of monsters and enemies. You fight your way to the center of the fold. That's right, because you're going into the fold.
Yeah, I think I just need to watch, because I haven't even watched the gameplay really of this. I think I need to sit down and watch one of those to see, because it's pretty pricey.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't even think the other one was that much for the original. It might have been because we haven't gotten all the plastic dice bowl and all that crap. I think it was probably.
I know, yeah.
But
those dice look sexy.
Oh, they are. I mean, component. I mean, they're the only thing is that amount for.
No, they took a bath on the first one. The pledge for So why the hell is mine in German? The pledge for the original was $89
for the deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ!
I think unless I'm on some weird. What was yeah. Okay, let me check again. I have no idea why my Google is translating to German. Let's see. That's what I have. Yeah. 89. Yeah, $89 for the deluxe edition.
Then yeah, I guess that's probably why they're charging 160 for this. Of course, there's a lot of miniatures in this. There's like 70.
I think that's why. The other one was just cards. You had 4 minis and the rest were cards. Yeah. I mean, I'm on the fence as well. Like whenever I first heard the expansion, I was like, or not the expansion, this one, I was like, oh hell yeah. But yeah, something is just kind of like,
Yeah, because I paid 126 for mine. That must have been shipping included. I must have gotten.
And also probably with the Angler's Cove expansion.
Oh yeah, probably. That's probably why it was more. Yeah.
And that wasn't in the original pledge. You had to add that on.
Yeah. So anyway, we're about out of time. So.
Yep. Perfect. So, all right, everyone. That's our games that we are most excited for, additional for 2023. Let us know what you think of these games in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.